I just realized my mic was muted. But if I've rushed through this, it's because I've recorded like an hour of stuff and then realized it was all useless. So basically, what we're gonna do is just create a new DLL in C++, right? DLL stands for Dynamic Linking Library or something like that, right? And name it whatever you want. I'm gonna name it UE tutorial, right? And then what do I have in Brave? Oh yeah, I was also talking about that, but I'll talk about that later. What I was gonna look up was we're gonna pull up the Unreal Engine source. Yeah. First of all, let me set up this project. So we need Windows, and then we're gonna have a basic function for like main, right? And then I do this because that's what it requires for create thread, the LP routine or whatever. And then you create thread main 0, right? And then you break so it doesn't fall through. And then we need alloc console here. Let me just open up my old project. Like, just open up the old project real quick in case I mess something up. But alloc console, this basically creates a console window and then file pointer file. We'll need IO stream for this. IO stream, right? And then free open. Yeah, see, it already did it for me. Copilot. But what this does is redirect std out to the new console, basically. So, I'm also just gonna copy my FindPattern. You can find this in the description if I remember it. So I have this open. So first we're gonna find the objects pattern. Dude, I just realized I've done this like 3 times, but I'm gonna have to do it again. So I'm gonna create a pattern. I haven't went over how to find patterns for variables because I didn't know how to do it before like 20 minutes ago. But so we just made a normal pattern. We're starting at this line for the variable, so that works. So this is our pattern. And then for a variable, you want to find this line, right? And then you want to count how many bytes are in this line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's call that x, right? And then we have x, right? And then we gotta figure out what we have to make offset because it's relative. So we want this to equal x. So x minus 4 is 3. So wait, offset would be 3. So we figured that out. So let's make a thing called like objects address equals FindPattern, and then the pattern. Make sure there's no space at the end. True, and then we said 3. And we're gonna check this pattern. If there's no objects, I'm a little sick. I don't know. If there's no objects address, then we'll just make a message box saying objects could not be found. Then UE tutorial MB icon error stands for message box error. And then we would free library and exit thread get module handle W0, comment 0. That's for the exit code and that's the handle or whatever. So let's just copy this a couple times. So this can be for freeing. You'll see what all this is for later. But we're just going to change these. This can be to string, string, and then I believe that's all we need. So let's finish setting up the project. We gotta delete these files. Then we go to the project settings, properties, and then we change the C++ version to the latest draft, or you can make it C++ 17 if you want. I think that'll work. And then we disable precompiled headers. And since my game is 64-bit, we can delete this just in case you accidentally build. It'll remove the option to accidentally build in 32-bit. I'm gonna make a new file called chucks.h. Basically, UE4 has objects and names. Names is just for naming purposes. Like it has, yeah, you know. And then objects are like, I don't know how to explain objects really. They're like variables, classes, all that stuff, reflection stuff. You can look up what reflection programming means. But so objects I know are stored at see I already have it here. But since our Unreal Engine version is 4.9 4.16, you gotta change the branch to 4.16, and then the object array is in uObjectArray public, yeah. So first of all, we'll need FU object item, right? Let's put this here. I can just remove that, right? And then uObject base, for our purposes, we can just make it uObject, right? And then we do struct because it's not defined yet. We'll define it later on. And then since we're on 4.16, 4.20 and 4.20 and below uses fixed uObjectArray, right? Oh yeah, hold on. This is where objects are actually stored to uObjectArray, which is just fixed uObjectArray. So that's how you can know which object array you're supposed to use. So we can actually just copy this straight from Unreal Engine, basically, and just remove the type defs, and that will work. And basically, how FindObject works is it returns a uObject, which we don't have yet, but and it takes in an object name. Oh yeah, we have to include string first. And then what it does is it loops through every object. Let's make a variable for the objects. And but basically, num elements is how many objects are like alive. The current number of objects. So I is less than objects num elements I plus plus, right? Let's just define the object so it doesn't yell at me. Oh yeah, it's not public. We gotta make it public. And then what we would do is object equals. So we actually have to find. Somehow it did this already for me, which is kind of cool. But we're just gonna look at Unreal Engine source because we have to find it by the number. What number object it is. So if we gotta figure out a way to find the first object or the second object, right? Because it's yeah, it's a master table, 2 chunks of pointers. That's what the objects is in. So Unreal Engine has this thing called getObjectPointer, used for that reason to find by index. So we're just gonna copy this again, include CSC or Windows.h. I don't know. One of them defines this. Yeah, Windows.h. And so what this does is it checks if the index is bigger than 0 and index is less than the number of objects. Or if it's not, then it will kind of yell at us and we'll be accessing wrong memory. And if it is, then we return that. But this returns an object item. And if you look in the object item, there's an object in it. So what we can do is we can put this in parentheses. So it does this first, and then since it's a pointer, then we do that and an object. And now we gotta change the return value to uObjectPointer. And we gotta return null pointer at them. So now what we can do here is we can do object.getObjectPointer I. And then we want to make sure that the object is valid, and if it's not, then continue. And now what we gotta do is implement names. What we'll do is object.getFreeName. But we don't have objects. I mean, names. So this will require us to add a lot of things. We have to add FString, TArray, and FName. So if we go back to the source, there's this thing called, first we'll add TArray. So it's an array.h, it's in containers. So if we look for TArray, right, it has It's 3 variables. I'll just tell you that because this is a big struct of like a big class. So it has 3 variables. And that's a struct TRA. Right? And it has 3 variables. Well, it takes in the template, it takes in the element type, right? And then public. Well, we don't have to do public because it's a struct. In element type pointer data. This is actual data. And then we have the count, which Unreal Engine calls it array num. And then we have the max. And then Unreal Engine calls it the array max. And then we're gonna add freeing, or else there will be a memory leak, and that would not be good. So we're just gonna do this to reset those, and then we gotta add our delegate so we can call functions from the actual game. So free void pointer. This is f memory free. What did I do wrong? Nothing. Okay, no. So free takes in a pointer. So we would free the data, and then data equals no pointer. So now that we have our TRA down, what we need to do is strings. So if we go here, we'll look for string. I think I already have it here. But if I don't, what you can do is you can look up FString UE4, right? And then you look for the documentation right here. You can do this with any Unreal Engine thing. And then you have the header here, which is very useful. And then you paste it in here, make sure it's the right branch, right? And then you look for FString, the definition, and you can easily find that by the constructor. Yeah, right. So all it literally has is you can copy that. And that's literally all it has. And a T char is just a wide char, which is a normal char, but like with more like characters. We don't need that. And that's it. But we want to add, well, 2 things. Free string, which is just gonna free the data. Make sure this is public. And then toString, which is going to convert, since it's a wide char, we have to convert it to an std string. Auto length equals clen data.beta. You could do data.array num. That should work. Actually, I don't know why IntelliSense didn't catch me, but this is supposed to be count, and this is supposed to be max. You could do data.count. That would probably work. I'm not sure. And then, yeah. You make a string with no terminating, whatever. Yeah, that length. And then you have to do some stuff, which I don't really understand, but it's converting we need locale, however you say it. It converts the wide to a normal string. Yeah. Local.mirror data plus length, and then result 0, right? And then what we want to do is return string. Return result, actually. Make this capital. So now that we have that, we need FName. Look at here. We search FName. We find the documentation. Find the header. After that, boom, paste that. Okay, there you go. Now we look for FName. Boom. Found the constructor, so this is it. The variables are like somewhere in the middle of this. Yeah, right here. So these are static, so we don't need these. Fortnite just has this basically. So we need a struct FName. Copy this. They don't have preserving name. Name index is just an int32. I mean an int. And a uint32 is just an unsigned int. Right, and then let me remove these spaces because they look bad. This comment. And now what we need is we need toString, which basically converts the name into a string. Yeah, that's it. I don't know how else to explain it. So we need a temporary FString, and then we need another delegate. Fast call. I don't think you need that fast call, but I just put it there. Structs FName pointer. Not FString. Because it hasn't been defined yet, so we put the struct in front of it. So now what you do is you call toString O, and since take it in the FName pointer, you put in this, and then the temp, and then auto string equals temp.toString. We have to do this because we can't just return temp.toString because we got a free temp, so we gotta copy it over. Oh yeah, did I make a const? Wait, what did I do wrong? Argument. That's an issue. Oh, there we go. So I just have to make this const. I don't know why I did that. Because it normally doesn't do that, but apparently you did. So now what I gotta do is temp.freeString. And then return string. Boom. And now we need get FULLNAME and UObject. Okay, this is where the actual annoying part comes in. So you can just change this to UObject, or you could, oh, or not. So you gotta look up UObject UE4. And you look for documentation. I swear that's what I had, but okay. Copy the header. Go here. Actually, oh, this is right. Yeah. UObject-based just extends UObject-based utility, which doesn't have any variables, and UObject-based utility just extends UObject-base. And UObject-base has the actual things that we want, so we actually want to go to UObject-base instead. And then we want to look for these variables right here, right? We just copy this, like we've been doing, and then do that. And then since this is just an enum, it can just be, and you could copy the enum. You can also look up the enum, like this UObject flags UE4, and then you could paste this in your project and then just use that, but you could also do this. UClass just extends UObject, and every pointer is 8 bytes, so this won't mess up with the bytes and stuff. And we don't need UClass yet, or really ever this whole time. Oh yeah, I forgot that. So now what we need is getName, which all that does is return name private to string. And then we also need get FULLNAME, which is not as simple. We need a temp again. And then for each of the outers, make sure that the outer, and then for each outer, wait, yeah. So we loop through the outer, and then we check the outer's outer. And then we do temp equals, let's see, format, because I like it. I'm trying to include format, like type, there you go. Format, dot, boom, outer, main, and then finally we return format, class private, dash getName. Let me make sure that I'm recording. Yeah, good. How's about it? Okay, temp this dash getName. You don't need this. Just put it there, just for clarification. So now, this is actually valid. So now what we can do is, we aren't actually going to compare it like directly. It would be faster, but that would be annoying if you had to put in the full name. So we're just gonna do object name dot contains object name, or you could do the other way on. Wait, no, you would do the other way on. I did that on, so like that. And if it is the correct one, then you just return object. So let's go back here and let's include. Oh yeah, we need to include object, and let's include structs.h. Oh yeah, not those because it's not them. Yeah. So include structs.h. So now what we need to do, we need to actually assign these addresses. So toString O equals delta type toString O, toString address, and then free equals delta type free, readdress, and then object equals subtype objects adjust. And now to debug, we can print out the first object's full name. So object slash get object pointer. Actually, let's do the 8th, which is gonna be some class, I'm pretty sure. So we do that. Oh yeah, I have to close IDA because you can't open most games with IDA open. Well, so one of two things is gonna happen. It's gonna exit. Well, one of three things. It's gonna exit, ban you, or let you, which is kind of dumb if it lets you. So this should be all that we need. Let's try and build it and see if that works. And it built fine. So you want to copy the way it built. And then you want to open up an injector. Like I use UU client, you can use IGCS, whatever you want to inject. I didn't open up Fortnite, did I? So my Fortnite is located in seasons. 1.9. And then so we just open up Fortnite. So now we just gotta wait a bit for the Fortnite to open. Let me explain a bit more what this code does. I mean, I basically explain everything. This delc type, it just gets the type. It whatever. I don't know what delc stands for, but it gets the type of the object and then just casts it to it, and like it ignores like everything. I'm pretty sure. Like it just does it. No, no. This, it accesses the objects and then it looks for that and then it gets the memory address. It's kind of complicated. The flags are for like what kind of object. I don't know how to explain it. This, I don't know what this is. And then this is like weak pointers or something like that. Oh yeah, we should probably mention null pointer. It's not apply, but you could. Okay, so my Fortnite's not open. Let's make sure that's at least on the login screen. It is. So I already have UU open, so WPF does this weird thing where it shows a bunch of errors. But anyway, put that, and then we paste in the path that I had, that we got from the Visual Studio. And we inject, and it, please work. It did not work. Okay. Well, that's a bit embarrassing. The issue is, let me look. So I found another patterns because it didn't bring up a message box, and FindPattern wouldn't be what it's crashing on. I mean, this is what developing is basically, just debugging. Oh yeah. I don't know. Everything seems about right. I'm trying to think what could be the issue. So what we can try doing is, let me open up Fortnite real quick. Alright. Object stuff. Get object pointer. I should try getting the first object. And then printing out the address of it. And getting the full name. So then I can know if it's our get object pointer. Oh! I see what the issue is. The issue is that I made these relative too. Because I never changed the pattern. Wow. Good going me. Okay. So we're gonna have to reopen IDA. Dang it. Okay. Well, I figured out. That's good. I was about to go down like a whole rabbit hole. That would have not been fun. But they're functions, so they don't need relative. Oh, and I forgot another thing. which would have not been good. Since UObject has virtual functions, let me go back. It has a lot of virtual functions. But this is just for an example, one of these. So that means it has to have a virtual virtual function table, right? And that's a double pointer because it points to pointers that point to functions that are addresses of function. I think something like that. Right, so we just need this because it's not actually in C++, it just adds it when it compiles. But yeah. So let's find f-memory free. We can find free. I'm gonna have to open up a PDB, which is fine, but actually, yeah, I'm gonna have to open up a PDB. Well, actually, if you're in process vent, which you should be, uh, well, you use that for objects. But if you scroll to the bottom, right, and then you just compare your process event to mine, there should be just free memory right here. You come here, boom, copy like this or something like that. Free memory is not that big. Um, do that. Searches for the pattern, and that's a find pattern. So we can go to the project, go back. So now all we need is a two-string pattern. So there's two strings. There's this one, which doesn't return anything and takes in and out. So we want this one. If this assembly, if the pseudocode looks like this, which you press the 5 to see it, then we're on the right function. So we can just go to a random reference of the function. Well, Fortnite, well, most things, most games, I'm pretty sure, just like ignore this one because it's slow. I want to say, wait, yeah, I don't know what this does really. If I'm gonna be honest with you, because this takes in that and it returns. I don't know, but this is what gets called. But like it gets reduced to this in Fortnite. So we just keep clicking random references, right? Until we find a function that has a string in it. Oh, right here, sig, right? So you could also just search for this string in IDA, but I like to do that instead. Where were we? We were just right here. So this is just random thing, sig, right? Click F5. Decompiles. Is this it? I don't know. Let's compare the two. Is this the same thing? It seems extremely similar besides the fact that it calls FName to string. It just like doesn't do that in this one. Look, it got F memory free. I don't know. That's weird. That's very, very weird. And annoying. Because it literally does everything else. I don't know. So we're gonna have to find something else. This one. Seems like there's no strings nearby. So we go back to FName to string, which is right somewhere. I don't know. Oh, I know this has a string in it. A online beacon host notify control message. Yeah, right here. Look, we search. We go to here. We go to the string window, which I didn't fully generate, but it should be fine if it even exists, which it doesn't. So I'm gonna just do that. Oh yeah, to generate strings, you press Shift and F12, and to jump to the address, you press G. So I didn't explain that, but you decompile this. You go back to the pseudocode, right? And you find what? Okay, Fortnite. What? I'm confused now. Okay, let's look for another string because that string is not right. Okay, so we're in this. So we can look for this string if it exists. Bro, what is happening? Why can't I jump to that? Okay, you know what? Screw this idea. We're going back to FName string. Okay, so I just tried doing something. It did not work. So we're gonna look for another function. Which one of these functions look like it would have it? It would have a string in it. This one. FObject replicator. It indeed does not. Where is FName dictionary? Okay, we'll just go here. Let's try this one. I really did not think this is what we're gonna be stuck on the whole time. Really? Okay. So I just tried this like 5 times, but like it's gonna work this time. So let's just click the random function. Okay, strings, good. Because for the past 5 ones, there wasn't a string. That was very annoying. So we just jump to this. I put a space. I did not. This doesn't work. Why? Please help me. Okay. So we gotta look for another one. So I just tried like 6 times. Let's hope this one has a string in it. It does not. Of course it doesn't. Why would it? At this point, man. Finally. We can't use none because that's used too much. And apparently that too, because it has 96, so it won't be accurate. Okay, let's try this again. Try this again for the 15th time. Which I've cut out every other try. Try this again. Finally, something unique. Of course, something that is not unique. Okay, so this is the 15th time that I've tried this. Please work. Please be a string. Oh my gosh. Okay. So this is the 15th time I tried this. Please be a string in here. Or else I'm gonna get so annoyed. Finally. This isn't gonna be in here because it's the debug function. Really? I find that very, very surprising. So if we open this and this, and then we look here, go up a bit. I already have a name, so it's right here. Right? And then to rename it, you just right click this, copy this one, and then you paste it right there. And then you can also jump like that. So let's create a pattern. Now I'm using SIGMaker to create my pattern, which is Control-Alt-S. But if you don't have SIGMaker, then you just have to manually write the bytes. So let's try the pattern that I just made. It's a bit long. Yeah, it works. So I'm using it because this tutorial has been long enough already. So we gotta close the IDAs again because Fortnite doesn't like IDA. Actually, this version of Fortnite, it might not detect it. Oh yeah, make sure there's no spaces at the beginning or end. Actually, my IDA is closed really fast for some reason. I'm unsure why that closed so fast. Dude, this has been like 33 minutes, but I'm gonna cut it down to like 30, I think. Because of how many mistakes I had. But this is gonna load for a second. Again, you just copy the build path. Then you paste that there. Wait for my game to finish loading. It's about to. Now we inject. Did I rebuild? Yes, I did. That was extremely quick, as you can see. And that is the first, that is indeed the first object. So, yeah, it worked. And now I gotta go edit this video. So, what will part 4 be? Part 4 will probably be on GUI. And, like, String. And code improvements. No, that's part 5. Part 5 is code improvements and, like, other stuff. And then part 6 is going to be, like, tnamer, entry array, maybe. Because I have to look into that, so that might take a bit. And the new object array. New object array might be part 6. I don't know, but goodbye.